Welcome to the Global Stability Helpline, where world peace is technically still on the menu. If you want stable, predictable alliances, press 1. If you want the world run by just 2 countries, America and China, press 2. If you press 2, great choice. You're now being connected to Donald Trump, inventor of the G2, destroyer of everyone else's weekend. And if you are India, Japan, Australia, or Europe, please stay on hold indefinitely. And yes, China is very much in the call. It's the G2, not the G whatever Trump feels like today. And for New Yorkers, we do have a limited time offer. For just 4 years, you may speak to Zoran Mamdani, the only person on this menu who still believes alliances matter. Anyway, since the Global Stability Helpline is clearly useless, let's understand what's actually going on between America, China, India, Trump, and yes, even Zoran Mamdani.
Hello, in Raghav's take today. An America-India strategic alliance was the most incontestable geopolitical theorem for the last 2 decades, especially since President George Bush Jr. ended India's nuclear isolation in 2008 by granting an exceptional exemption from the NPT, that's the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. Suddenly, India's nuclear status switched from pariah outcast to mainstream. We could obtain and enrich uranium for our civil nuclear energy program without giving up or circumcising our nuclear weapons. India attained an unusual, not available to any other country, geopolitical importance virtually overnight. A stream of tangible, visible actions followed, and these were mostly in partnership with America. That solidified India's prowess on the global stage. The biggest war exercises were conducted in sync with the United States, Japan, and Australia. That's called the Quad. Foundational military agreements with, acronyms like LEMOA, Comakaza, BECA. These were rapidly executed. Freedom of navigation patrols were launched in the Indo-Pacific, sharply targeting Chinese adventurers. But then Donald Trump 2.0 happened. He came with an unexpected vow to upturn and wreck every existing treaty or alliance. As if he had vowed to fix it because it wasn't broke. What followed were egregious tariffs on allies, belligerent diatribes against NATO, friendly footsies with Russia, China, and Pakistan, and an utterly inexplicable grudge against India. Now, even by Trump's maverick standards, he shocked the world by a very casual endorsement of G2 on the 30th of October. As he headed to meet with President Xi, Trump tweeted in all caps, "The G2 will be convening shortly." Perhaps it was an off-the-cuff remark made without much thought or substance. Nonetheless, its potential to destroy a carefully knit World War II, post-World War II global consensus is epic and dangerous. What does G2 imply? That America and China are free to carve up mutually agreed spheres of influence? Something as cavalier as, "I will take Alaska and Canada, you take Taiwan. And let's both take Russia, Pakistan, the Middle East, and Southeast Asia as equal dominions." What happens to Europe, Japan, Australia, and India? Just cut them loose to drift away and find a new geopolitical destiny? I felt personally jabbed and wounded by Trump's G2 tweet. Because I had aggressively postulated that the America-India tango would create the age of supereconomies. And I refer you here to my book, SuperEconomies, America, India, China, and the Future of the World. This was published by Penguin Allen Lane in 2015. What is a supereconomy? What attributes define it? I had created 6 very objective parameters. 1. It should be a large country, both in terms of land mass and number of people. Russia, China, India, America, Canada, Brazil, and Argentina, they ticked that box. 2. Each supereconomy should have a large GDP, at least equal to or more than 5% of global GDP. Now, America and China easily make the cut on both nominal and PPP, that's purchasing power parity, counts. India's nominal GDP it's creeping up. It's creeping up to that threshold. While of course India's crossed the Rubicon in PPP terms. So India does tick half that box and is growing at a rate which could make it tick the other half quite soon. While Japan and Germany could also be smuggled into this set, they failed to make the cut in point 1. Russia too drops out here. 3. Every supereconomy should have a large military. Once again, America, China, Russia, and India come in the reckoning. Although North Korea flirts around the edges, it's a flop show on other parameters. 4. Besides having a large military, a supereconomy should be a nuclear weapons power. So, America, China, Russia, and India stay in the game while Brazil, Canada, and Argentina cop out. France, UK, Pakistan, Israel, and North Korea beep up, but they are a no-show elsewhere. Criteria number 5. Each supereconomy must have an influential global diaspora and significant soft power, i.e. its cultural influence should be expanding on the planet. America, China, and India come good on this one too. Objective condition criterion number 6. Finally, a supereconomy should be critically located. It should be a hotspot for influencing conflict and commercial outcomes. America's strategic influence on the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, its military bases all over the globe, give it a unique score. China's location at the epicenter of Asia, its dominance of world trade, along with a formidable presence in the Indo-Pacific Ocean, qualifies it on these counts. India's foremost position in South Asia, with tentacles of leverage that arc from Africa, the Middle East to Southeast Asia, bring India into the reckoning. So my conclusion was clear. America is the predominant supereconomy, i.e. S1. China was a strong challenger supereconomy, i.e. S2, and India was an inexorably emerging supereconomy, i.e. S3. There was no 4th supereconomy waiting in the queue. I extended my thesis to assert that a strategic alliance between S1 plus S3, that is, between America and India, was the most robust formation to keep the world in peaceful equilibrium. China, that's S2, would dare not fool around with S1 plus S3 plus allies, as their heft would always exceed China's weight, even if you add Russia's support to the dragon. Their cumulative GDPs would outpoint China at least by 3:1. their combined military strength would similarly be 3, perhaps even 4:1. Their combined nuclear power would be overwhelming really. Their geographical spread across the globe would keep conflict spots small and confined. And finally, their additive, soft cultural power would keep the world liberal and democratic in the face of rising authoritarianism. In my book, S1 plus S3, that's America plus India, was the 21st century mantra for keeping the world prosperous and democratic. But President Trump's G2 articulation dangerously overturns the S1 plus S3 postulate, because G2 will create an inherently fragile and inimical equilibrium. However much America and China may want to give friendly vibes, the reality is that they are endemic competitors on Earth, militarily, geographically, economically, and as purveyors of political control and influence. Any peace between them will always be threatened by mistrust and suspicion. Any minor accident or any tremor could trigger an apocalypse. And this is where Zohran Mamdani and the New Democrats kick in. Their astonishing political triumph in New York, New Jersey, and Virginia. That's a positive metaphor for getting America back on the rails. Gives hope that Trump's whimsical, mythical creation of G2 will die an early death. That should resurrect the time-tested geopolitical equation, that is S1 plus S3 plus allies, that's America plus India plus the democratic world of Europe and other NATO countries. I would bet the farm on this one. This was Raghav's take today.